Drugs. See your girl in the park. System overload.
This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel-biting, bagel-bitch boy, bagel-bitch back.
What is up, full-time family? It is time to start the show. And since we're starting so early, you know what that means, right? We got some good news. I got a work shift for today. I can't wait. So we got about an hour and a half, 2 hours before I really got to crunch down and make it to work. So we're good. We got some time. So it's time to talk MMA. Not the most stacked show as far as different news topics. There are some juicy ones, but not a lot. So we might be out here an hour. Who knows? Who knows? We got work today. It's going to be fun. I'm just happy that we have some work. So what's going on, full-time family? I think my boy Roger Smith said something about a shout-out. Yeah, Roger Smith said, give me a shout-out. Roger Smith, big fan, please. What's going on, Roger Smith, my motherfucking dog? And that fan word threw me off because I look at you guys more as family than fans. But all you got to do is ask for a shout-out. It's nothing, man. It's just me using my voice box. So shout out to Roger Smith. And, of course, Leon Dubson, Fat Ninja Flip. I mean, everybody that's already in the building, MMA Addict. What's going on, family? We got 15 people watching. That's impressive because it's daytime and there's actually some other shows on. So as far as MMA, so appreciate you guys being here with me for now for this live show. And everyone listening on the replay, whether you're at work, whatever you're doing, what's going on. Make sure you do your boy a favor and hit the thumbs up button if you can. If not, do it when you can. But let's get into the show. Actually, 16 people. See, I don't know. I'm going to have to do a vote one of these times about the song in the very beginning. I don't know if you guys would like opening up with the song or if you guys would rather me just run that shit at the end. You know, we do got UFC Yankovic over here, 799 subscribers, one away from 800. And over here you can find all sorts of MMA parody songs. Hey, just in case you haven't heard them yet, fuck it, let's just run one. We're going to run the God's Plan, Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, and Khabib remix. Let's fucking run it. Only reason I'm playing this is because it was remastered by Stockton Slaps. Whew. And by the way, shout out to my dog, MMA Vlogger, Real Talk Forum. He gave me the idea of getting that Fire Snoop remastered, the Fire Snoop Dogg remix. We're going to have to do that. I got to re-record it. It's going to be dope. Nigga, you fam, I watched the support. What's going on, Yosa L? That's my motherfucking dog. That's what I'm talking about. Arpit in the building. Weird Al Yanko of rap MMA. Let's go. Let's start it off. The Ultraman theme song. Let's go. It's Tony time, bitch. I don't care who's fucking with me. Hey, y'all ready? And by the way, that was all added by Stockton Slaps. Shout the fuck out to Stockton Slaps, man. This was all him. He added the Tony, El Kakui. He added all of that. He fixed it up, man. That's super dope. Shout out to Stockton Slaps. Let's get it.
Yeah, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing on me. It's Tony time, bitch, I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from tiramisu's a struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. My elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. Hey, I don't really give a fuck who's with me. If this fat fuck will make weights a big mystery. If you were smart, then you would probably pick me to submit Khabib at UFC 223. To submit Pettis at UFC 229. Tony time, Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. Then moved up and fought Woodley. Either wait for GSP. You don't wanna mess with me. Tony time, Tony time.
I knock out, sometimes I choke. All right, that's it. That's how we're going to start with full-time family. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to start the show. We got some MMA news to talk about, and I see my boy MMA Addict said, full-time, play the Troll Vintage, one classic and one of the best. Fuck the other side. We'll play that actually to end the show today. Don't want to, the people that don't enjoy it, we don't want to drown them out with the MMA cringe parody. You know what I'm saying? So if you enjoyed that, hey, props to us because I like it, but you know what I'm saying? It's not everybody's cup of tea. So let's get to the news, and then we'll close out with the old school flashback troll motherfucking ether. But yeah, man, first of all, we know recently Conor McGregor called Khabib Nurmagomedov's father and him a quivering coward on a social media post. And it was kind of like, yo, I know Conor McGregor's crazy and he talks shit, but Khabib's father doesn't necessarily seem like the guy you want to call a quivering coward. I mean, he for one, can't corner Khabib because he has his visa issues. And I think there's actually not a lot of truth to this, but I've heard it in the past. I don't think it's true. I'm just throwing it out there, fucking rumor, letting you know it's a rumor. There was a report or a rumor that Khabib's father was actually on some like terrorist list, which is why he couldn't come over. That's why he had issues, you know, his visa issues. But I tried to look that up and research it, and I didn't really find much on that. So I don't know if that's true. But either way, if everybody you see address Khabib's father respects him to the highest order, even Khabib's coaches, Khabib, undefeated fighter. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff over from Dagestan when you're researching Khabib or anything, you see his father gets treated pretty well over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, he might be like some sort of like army general type dude, or maybe it's just because he's such a fucking beast at turning these guys into like Sambo champions and shit. Maybe that's what it is. Either way, he's got a lot of respect. Even over in America, when Khabib wins a fight, he makes sure to not only thank his coach, but of course his father as well. And his coach will get on the mic and be like, yeah, man, Khabib's a beast, but his father, man, we got to give credit to his father. You know, just paying the ultimate respect. So Conor McGregor comes out talking about some, just like your middle son, a fucking like quivering coward. And it's like, oh, okay, Conor, this is deeper than rap. We already knew that, but thanks for reminding us. And now Khabib's father has responded, and this is what he had to say. Mentally, they can't get under our skin. In that aspect, we are standing firm. We are even letting certain things pass, but we are not forgiving anything. The cage and the fight are still ahead for Khabib and Conor. So, you know, they're not going to let anything jeopardize this fight. This could be potentially a fucking way out for McGregor. Yeah, and not, I'm sure McGregor don't want a way out, but, I mean, there's some trash talk that if you cross the lines and the fight happens before the fucking octagon, if you get in a fight at the press conference because you got too disrespectful, that can fuck up the fight. It can, not guaranteed. And I say that because this isn't the only thing that Conor McGregor's done that is like, whoa, shit, Conor. And this is, like I said, Khabib, they usually don't let shit like this get under their skin. But this is a button we've never saw pressed. You can't just talk about Khabib's hairline or, you know, his money or nothing like that and piss him off. Oh, that's why you're broke and you teach jiu-jitsu. You can't say that shit to Khabib. Nothing like that. Not going to piss him off. He's just going to look at you like a killer and can't wait to get in that octagon. But this is a new button talking about his father. But that's not the only thing Conor McGregor's actually done, and I don't want to be the one to fucking put this narrative out there, but I just looked at it like, yo, could Conor McGregor be wanting a way out of this fight? And not because he called Khabib's father a quivering coward, but he's also not doing media. We saw in the past that has been a way Conor McGregor got pushed out of a fight. He wanted to fight at UFC 200. Since he didn't agree to do the media obligations, the UFC was like, no media, no fucking fight. Sorry, Conor, you can't do that. You got to do media and help sell this fight. And he didn't want to, so he wasn't able to fight at UFC 200. But then later on, of course, we saw Ronda Rousey got to do a media blackout. And maybe Conor McGregor was like, what the fuck? Because right now, specifically, Conor McGregor, or the UFC needs Conor McGregor more than ever. I mean, we saw the numbers have not been doing great. There's no really stars around. Talks of GSP may be coming back, but even if he comes back, it's like for what, one fight? I mean, Ronda Rousey's like the WWE champion. She ain't coming back. And Jon Jones, we're still waiting to see if he's going to get a 2 or a 4 year suspension. So really, the UFC needs Conor, so I'm sure they're not going to take him out of this fight. But this is something that he has done in the past that got him taken out of a fight. So I'm not saying Conor McGregor wants out of this fight. I'm just saying he's motherfucking playing by his rules. I mean, and doing whatever he wants as far as leading up to this fight, as far as press is concerned. And hey, he's even, like I said, talking shit about Khabib's father. That could just be some mental warfare. I know some people don't think mental warfare is a thing. They don't think if you get a fighter emotional, it will affect them in the fight. I think those people are fucking crazy. There's no way if you have somebody in the octagon and their mind is clouded thinking about the shit you're talking, either they're going to get over aggressive because you got them emotional, or you get under their skin to the point to where they're second guessing shit they do. Oh, he's looking for this. Like, mental warfare has its place in MMA, regardless of what some of the people think that are. I've literally had people in the last week or so, do you really believe that mental warfare shit? Like, no, that's definitely serious. Humans have fucking emotion, and that shit is definitely going to carry into a fight. if you get over emotional at the shit your opponent says. And Conor McGregor tends to do that to guys. We've seen it in the past. I've never been that pissed off going into a fight. Hell, it's not even just McGregor. We saw it with Michael Johnson and Dustin Poirier. Going into that fight, that was probably the most ticked off I've ever seen Dustin Poirier. Like, he really wanted to fucking knock Michael Johnson out outside of the ring. Michael Johnson's really fucking good at that. I mean, he hasn't been winning a lot of fights. He did most recently, but he'll get under your fucking skin. Before the Gaethje fight, before the Poirier fight, before the Feely fight, even after the Feely fight, Michael Johnson will get under your skin. Now, of course, that's not all it takes to win a fight. Of course, you can't just piss somebody off and win a fight, but it can affect the fight. It can help in the fight. In the Gaethje fight, hell, he was looking good until Gaethje came back and won the fight. Johnson cracked him once. So, and then knocked out Poirier, and Poirier admitted after the fight, I've never been that pissed going into a fight. So there's something to it. But either way, Khabib's father continued. He said, for the hype, for the money, to bury Conor's era, the situation is even better for us. But if we talk purely sports-wise, we still want the Ferguson fight. I really want him to come back and defeat Anthony Pettis. The intrigue is still there. The whole world is interested in the Ferguson fight. It would be 11-0 Khabib in the UFC, 11-0 for him, in the fight that hasn't happened yet. So, you know, that's a big fight that a lot of fans wanted to see. It's been put together 4 times now, Khabib versus Tony Ferguson. And his father saying, yeah, after we end Conor McGregor, we still owe Tony Ferguson some work too. Tony Ferguson still got to come back, heal that leg up, beat Pettis, and get this work. And yo, that's a good fight. Honestly, 100% healthy Tony Ferguson, I think it's safe to pick him in the Pettis fight. But Pettis has been looking better than he has in a long time. That triangle armbar over Michael Chiesa. And also, Tony Ferguson's coming off a pretty nasty leg injury. So that fight might be a little more even than you think if you're just imagining prime El Cucuy taking on Anthony Pettis, who you feel like fell off the wagon or fell off the fucking, you know, train. Like, if you feel like Anthony Pettis' days are over. I don't. I think he looked great in his last fight. This Tony Ferguson fight's not a terrible matchup. And Tony's coming off of an injury, so I'm just letting. I know a lot of people feel like Ferguson's going to win, but I'm not going to be surprised if Pettis pulls it out. But either way, Ferguson is a guy that could be the not undisputed. He could be the interim lightweight champion right now. He was stripped, of course, the whole lightweight division, the way it's playing out with McGregor and Khabib. Not really much for somebody like Tony Ferguson to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting stripped, buddy. This is big business going on right here. So, see you when we see you. Yeah, you deserve a big fight. You'll get it. Be quiet. You know what I'm saying? He got injured. It is what it is. He's out now. Now he's back, but just because you're back and you got injured don't mean you're guaranteed the fight. So he's got to get a win in over Pettis. Of course, they're going to be like the co-main event to McGregor and Khabib. So the winner of that fight very well could be next. I mean, depends on what happens with GSP, of course. But as far as lightweight, they could be next. And of course, Khabib's father is saying they still want that fight. And then as far as a potential George St. Pierre fight, we saw just yesterday on the live stream, even more pictures of GSP looking lighter than ever. And my theory, my motherfucking hypothesis, is that GSP is doing a test weight cut at least once. I don't know if he's did it yet, if he's doing it now. I just think that would be fucking smart and actually be really stupid not to do it. You're just GSP who's never made 155 before. Like, oh yeah, I want to fight the winner of McGregor Khabib. Let's test now if I can make the weight. How about no? How about instead, while they're fighting, before they fight, we're doing a test weight cut right now just to make sure. If we can make 155, we're in there like swimwear. That's big business. GSP's fighting the winner of McGregor Khabib. If he can make it on a test cut. But, and he's been looking small lately, so he could be doing a test cut. That's what my theory is. And he's potentially going to be trying to make legacy and fight for a third title in the third weight class at lightweight against the winner of McGregor and Khabib. But of course, there's shit that has to play out. The UFC has said, Dana White, that we don't really want GSP to fight at 155. You know, he's just going to vacate the title. You know, we want him to fight at 170. Okay, yeah, whatever. That's business, dog. Yeah, that sounds good right now. I mean, in a perfect UFC sport world, yeah, we would love to see GSP fight at 170. But in the business era, the circus era, the fucking money fight era, the champ era, and all of these eras that we are in right now, GSP at lightweight makes a lot of sense as far as business is concerned. It would be the biggest fight of all time. That's what this is right now. Conor McGregor coming back to fight for the title he never lost against the undefeated lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov is the biggest fight of all time in UFC history. It's being projected as the biggest fight of all time. So, if you take the biggest fight of all time and you take the winner of that and you put him against one of the next biggest stars of MMA, GSP, that next now becomes the biggest fight of all time. I don't think the UFC is going to turn down 2 fucking million pay-per-view sales because they want GSP to fight at 170. I don't think they would do that if they saw GSP make the weight cut. So if GSP can do a test weight cut and actually make 155, I think that'd be huge for his potential fight at lightweight. He's got to show the UFC, like, look, man, it's not crazy. I'm not just wasting your time. I can make it. Take a picture on the motherfucking scale. Look, a video, so you know they know you ain't photoshopping shit. Hey, this is me, GSP. Look at the scale. Boop, boop, 155. That's the fuck I thought. Let me at him. McGregor or Khabib, whoever wins, let me at him. I'm just saying, GSP needs to make that test weight cut and get ready for motherfucking lightweight. But as far as Khabib's father, he said George St. Pierre's never been defeated as a champion at 170. He'd come back and took the belt from Michael Bisping at 185, and it's always been a dream fight for me. I've been following him for a long time. He's a Hall of Famer, and he showcased so much in this sport. So, of course, they would want that fight. You know, it's a legacy fight. It's a money fight. It checks off all the boxes for Khabib. So that would be crazy. Roger Smith said if someone falls out, they probably got him cutting weight. Usman's cutting weight for Woodley versus Till, but he's only stepping in if someone gets injured. But you guys probably talking about Kevin Lee just in case somebody gets injured, because Kevin Lee was talking about training for UFC 229. He said, I'm not going back and forth with nobody about it. Someone's getting their ass whooped. And he was potentially, if Tony Ferguson wasn't going to be fighting, Kevin Lee would have been in that backup role, you know, cutting weight just in case somebody gets injured so he can step in. But now Tony Ferguson is in that role. That's why he said when he announced his fight with Pettis, he's training for 3 opponents, because really he's supposed to just be fighting Pettis. But if McGregor gets injured, then he's got to fight Khabib. If Khabib gets injured, then he's got to fight McGregor. So that's 3 different opponents Ferguson is training for. He'll be stepping in if something happens in the main event. So we don't have nothing to worry about as far as UFC 229 main event. Remove Lizard said, don't forget to hit the like button, full-time family. We got 30 people watching now. I don't even know how many people have hit the thumbs up because I ain't looked at that yet. We got 14 thumbs up, 1 bagel biter. When you get finished biting your bagel, do your boy a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. It'd be much appreciated. Gilza L says, why don't he just come in on heavyweight and do a corm on them boys? Who's been holding the cage still, said John Doe. Yoza L said, hell yeah, whatever works for every level. Gotta keep the soup with the new ingredient. Fat Ninja Flip says, Yoza, Tony reminds me of how I play Tekken. I be throwing the shit out there and it works sometime. That's funny. Remove Lizard said, Tony rolling on opponents to keep them guessing on what he's going to do is unpredictable. Man, Tony Ferguson's style is probably one of the most unique fighting styles you're going to see in a long time. The fact that he's had so much success is just fucking remarkable with that style. He's been in trouble, but it doesn't matter. He's so fucking well-rounded and resilient. He always makes it through. Now he's on the damn 11-fight, 10-fight winning streak. Tony Ferguson is actually underrated, in my opinion. That unique fighting style, like, that shit is crazy. And mixed with how much success he's had, Tony Ferguson's very underrated, and if it wasn't for this McGregor-Khabib shit, he could very well be the undisputed champion right now. Exactly how Tony fights, new shit gonna hit you. Yo, you got a point, man. Tough House Usman was lame as hell, hasn't changed. I saw some of those highlights. I didn't watch the season when it was going on, but I saw some of them highlights. Usman did seem like a little bit of a jackass a couple of times on the Tough House. There was a time where, like, he was like, yo, chill, don't do that shit, bro. We might have to fight right here in the house. Dude was like, motherfucker, let's go, do something. And then Usman, like, thought about it, like, oh, well, we are in the house. I guess I don't want to ruin this opportunity. I guess I probably ain't going to do nothing. So we're just kind of cringy there. But, I mean, if you go back and watch everybody that's had moments on the Tough House, there might be a couple people that stood out. But, yeah, no, Usman definitely did. He stood out. I was like, oh, I think he's a different Usman now. I hope. I haven't got the same sense as I did when I saw him on the Tough House. But yeah, man, interesting season for sure. Fat Ninja Flip said that shit works. It's unseen. People need to learn. He's Paul in personality, says MMA Addict. All right, we're going to move on from Khabib's father. That was actually our first topic. We still got some shit to talk about. Damn. So, Jon Jones, this is interesting. So, first, Jon Jones opened up about his USADA decision. Now, recently, Jon Jones did that interview with the Russian media. He talked about DC first Lesnar. He talked about him fighting DC again. He talked about a lot of shit. And DC's responding to that too, blasting Jon. And Jon Jones is responding to that. So we're going to get into that next. But first, Jon Jones is opening up about his upcoming USADA decision. We've been waiting on. We've been seeing Jon Jones training, looking like a heavyweight. We've been speculating he might come back to heavyweight. Madison Square Garden needs an opponent. We all want to know, where is this optimism coming from the Jon Jones camp, the Jon Jones fans? Why do we all believe Jon Jones is going to be back, even though he's failed multiple drug tests? Well, it's because we see Brock Lesnar coming back, so why the fuck not? You know what I'm saying? No, I think what that is, I just think maybe, and this maybe I'm just speaking for myself, I think the integrity of USADA is a little in question. I do feel like USADA is the best drug testing agency in combat sports. I do feel like that. But we've heard big name fighters come out, GSP, and say, you can beat USADA. We've heard Khabib, who even though he said USADA's cleaning up the sport, said, I still feel like 50% or more are still on drug tests. And that's just part of the whole question of USADA's integrity. Then you get the fact where Junior Dos Santos, Anderson Silva, Chris Cyborg, all these fucking fighters, and they seem to be Brazilian, a lot of them, but they fail their drug test, and so you think that they're cheating, and then USADA comes out fucking 4 months later like, oh, by the way, guys, we had it wrong. There was just some rogue fucking shop that had some contaminated supplements, and, you know, so it was our fault. These guys are innocent. These girls are innocent. So Chris Cyborg, Junior Dos Santos, Anderson Silva all have had their names cleared. But their legacy's already tarnished. Their fucking character is already assassinated, or not. It's not dead, but it's already damaged. There's going to be people that still don't believe you now. They're going to know, Chris, there's people that think Cyborg's a cheater still. There's people that think Junior Dos Santos is a cheater still. Because Yoel Romero, another guy, Yoel Romero failed a drug test, come to find out he's innocent. So USADA's just doing so much shit where you're like, well, goddamn, what's going on, man? Whether it's fighters that are actually innocent getting popped, or whether it's now we got Brock Lesnar back in the USADA testing pool. He's looking a little smaller, but at the same time, he's still like, what? Like, is it even possible for Brock Lesnar to be clean? Like, I didn't even know if that was possible at this point. I figured that shit was like in his DNA. Like, he needs that shit to keep his heart beating. I don't know. It just seems like it. And so, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But either way, Jon Jones is opening up about his potential return. And he said, as far as this whole steroid situation, I never did them. He said, I do believe it was found in my system, a very small amount, metabolite, but I never intentionally took any performance enhancers. I've been working my tail off for the last year to try to prove that. Right now, we're still waiting for what they are going to do. I'm hoping for a reduced sentence from 4 years, but I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just staying faithful and trying to do the right things and focusing on the things I can control while waiting. It's so weird, man. This whole Jon Jones situation is so weird for me personally as a fan. Because there's so much optimism, and even just MMA fans that are just like, no, man, Jon Jones is still the GOAT. Like, the fucking cheating thing really doesn't mean anything. And I don't know why. I'm like, how the fuck not? You know, I fuck with Jon Jones heavy when he's clean. And even now it's crazy because he's talking like his first sentence, I never intentionally took steroids. Like, you hear him keeping it up, the denial. Like, I never did it. I never did it. Listen, can't wait to figure out what's wrong here. And the elephant in the room in my mind is, yes, the fuck you did. and I say that because, for one, he failed the drug test. Like, that's the first giveaway. And then for two, you hear his, like, former teammates, like, it's got out of the gym that there was the time. We all know the fucking Jon Jones under the octagon story by now. That got out from some of his teammates that might be jealous of Jon Jones or whatever the reason is. But Chael Sonnen, among other people, have retold the story now about the time USADA came to test Jon Jones and he hid under the octagon for hours until they left, even like pissing under the octagon at one point because the coast wasn't clear yet. And so it's like, so He is, right? If he's hiding from fucking USADA agents, that's not a good sign. So if that story's true, and of course it's a rumor, we don't have the video evidence of Jon Jones hiding under the octagon, but we do have evidence of Jon Jones failing multiple drug tests now. So when you take that rumor and you mix it with the facts, that is the failed drug test, am I the fucking only one here that feels like something's not right here? I don't know. Maybe I am, but Jon Jones is still coming out. Yo, I didn't do it intentionally. Like, but that's what you got to do. What do? Come out and say, I don't know, maybe that would be the better thing. What if Jon Jones just came out and said, you know what, I fucked up again. I took steroids. No, because that would probably fucking ruin his legacy if he did that. You know what I'm saying? If he came out like, all right, guys, you caught me. USADA, you're pretty damn good. Fuck it. I'm coming back this time clean, though. That would probably ruin his reputation. Like, oh, you know, you'd have to question everything he's done to this point. Because you'd be like, well, you lost when you beat Daniel Cormier, you failed your drug test. And before that, it was before USADA. Really, the only fight after USADA that Jon Jones didn't fail a drug test for was his OSP fight. And he didn't look great in that fight. That's just more fucking blaring signals. Beep, beep. What the fuck's going on here? You don't fail your USADA drug test, you don't look good. You look amazing, you fail your test. How much more fucking, like, circumstantial evidence do we need here? Hey, it is what it is. Jon Jones still holding out like he's innocent. Hashtag free Jon Jones. You know how that goes, man. We got Stamina MC in the building. Fat Ninja Flip said Full Metal Alchemist. Rock Lesnar. John Doe said, nah, take the Chael Sonnen role. Just go to Bellator, Jones says. Ivan Hernandez. I don't know where he's going to go. I mean, I'm sure Bellator would love to have Jon Jones. Any of these organizations that aren't fucking with USADA. But it's a big star for the UFC. I don't think they would let Jon Jones go, honestly. But yeah, man, that's Jon Jones talking about his upcoming steroid case. He had one last thing to say. I'm hoping for a reduced sentence from 4 years, but I don't know what's going to happen. Oh yeah, I already read that. I'm just staying faithful, trying to do the right things, focus on what I can control. So open up a little bit about that. But in that interview with Daniel Cormier, he talked about how he still thinks he can beat Daniel Cormier. He said, I have his number. I know how to beat Daniel Cormier. So even at heavyweight, yeah, I feel like he'd be more of a challenge, but Jon Jones feels like he would even beat DC at heavyweight. So Daniel Cormier must have got wind. He reposted the article, and not only did he repost the interview, he also responded. He said, big goals for a guy that could only achieve them after he finishes getting disciplined for his third drug test failure. I mean, geez, this guy, hashtag cheater. Daniel Cormier has officially opened up that fucking can of worms. Before, he never really went at Jon Jones. Hey, you fucking steroid cheat, you cheater. He never did that. He never came out and questioned Jon Jones' legacy. He never came out and gave himself that excuse. He's like, listen, I've fought guys in the past that were probably on steroids, so I'm not giving myself that excuse for why Jon Jones beat me. The better man won that night. Even though as a DC fan, I've been like, fuck that! I want to see if that kick hurts as hard wherever he fucking isn't, if it's not as powerful, if he's clean. I want to see the OSP Jon Jones take on motherfucking Daniel Cormier. So Daniel Cormier's not giving himself that excuse, but it's probably a legit excuse. But either way, he's responded to Cormier, put the hashtag cheater on there, and he didn't start calling Jones a cheater until he brought up like his wife. He's like, I'm sure your wife knows that you dream about me at night and becoming me. You know, Jon Jones started some shit and brought in the word wife. DC was like, yo, I ain't never had to do this, but listen, you steroid cheat motherfucker. Don't bring my wife into this. Do I need to ask like one of your baby mamas or your wives or whatever, one of your girlfriends, whatever you got going on? And since then, Daniel Cormier's been open about the hashtag cheater, calling him a steroid cheat, and actually good to see that ahead of a potential rematch. That's actually, in my opinion, a good selling point. Like, listen, hey, Jon, we don't know if you can beat me when you're clean. I'll lay it out just like that because we honestly don't 100%, even the Jones fans. So, but Daniel Cormier blasted Jones, and Jones responded to that tweet. Boy, did he. He said, does my big goal somehow offend you? Why the need for name-calling? And he said, I set you up with several attacks to your body. You began to protect your belly, so I kicked you in your head. But you're right, somehow a steroid metabolite right before the fight made me smarter. You're the champ. I'll stop dreaming now. And so Jon Jones is just letting him know, like, listen, I got your fucking number. Like, this is exactly how I set your big ass up to knock you out. I didn't set you up by going and taking a fucking handful of steroids and snorting workout powder before our fight, I knew you got a tendency to duck your motherfucking head, and I was going to kick you in it. And I told you, I asked 4 years ago that I was going to do that shit. I gave you 4 years to work on that fucking tendency, Daniel Cormier, and you didn't. So you know what I did? I kicked you in the motherfucking head. That's what it was. It wasn't because I was smarter. The steroids didn't tell me that. 4 years ago, I told you what I was going to do. And that's a good point. That's one of the reasons my brother, who's given DC his respect now that he knocked out Stipe, he was like, I'm not calling DC the GOAT. I'm not saying DC can beat Jon Jones. I literally saw him predict the knockout. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Jon Jones failed his drug test, but he told him 4 years ago he was going to kick him in his head. So to kick you in your head 4 years later, that's strategy. That's got nothing to do with the roids, some people felt like. But hey, who knows? Honestly, unless you take steroids and you can tell us, fucking, well, I mean, ideally they do make you bigger, stronger, faster. But GSP, the shit he was talking about, he said the new performance-enhancing drugs do make you smarter or more confident. They make you more confident. They make you more risky with the shit you're willing to do. So there's top-of-the-line shit out there that actually might make you smarter. I don't think it's the damn metabolite that was found in Jon Jones' system. And that's why, honestly, the USADA people said this whole Jon Jones steroid shit doesn't make sense because the metabolite that was found, they're like, it doesn't make sense for Jon Jones just to take a metabolite before he fights. Like, that's not the actual steroid, so it doesn't make all the sense for his next few tests to come up clean. And, yeah, it don't make sense unless you fucking consider, like, masking agents and all of that shit, right? Like, people who take performance-enhancing drugs do try to cover it up. And one of the things they do, I mean, whether it's a masking agent, but other than that, people that do take steroids, after their cycle, they get on fucking estrogen blockers so that they don't get, like, man boobs and shit like that, the bad side effects of steroids. And so if you get caught with estrogen blockers, yeah, you don't have steroids in your system, but it's showing you have there's a reason to believe you were on them recently. Or why the fuck are you taking estrogen blockers? You know what I'm saying? If you're not trying to negate those bad effects of the steroids. And so, I mean, that's why, you know, the Jon Jones situation that they say doesn't make all the way sense because he just got caught with, like, that metabolite and not the actual steroid. But at the same time, man, it's been multiple failed drug tests, and we've heard the stories, the rumors. Something's going on. Whatever the fuck it is, something's going on. Either way, hopefully Jon Jones can get that shit cleared up in time to fight Daniel Cormier at heavyweight. I want to see that fight. Honestly, I'd rather see Jon Jones come back and USADA leave than vice versa. It ain't like USADA's perfect. I mean, yeah, they're cleaning. Some people's bodies are changing. That's awesome. But you're also ruining a lot of shit. You're taking away some of the biggest stars. If it's just a metabolite and it doesn't make sense, well, you guys just fucking ruined Jon Jones' career almost for a metabolite. Oh, by the way, you also fucking took away Junior Dos Santos' Francis Ngannou fight, loss of wages. You also made everybody believe he was assassinating his character, essentially. This is lawsuit type shit that these fighters don't take up on because it's their employer. It's like, what do you want to do? Go to war against your employer? Like, everybody's not going to do that. So, like, if this was just an independent company, though, like if USADA wasn't hired by the UFC and it wasn't like you were going against your boss, they could easily be sued for a lot of this shit. Loss of wages we saw in the Junior Dos Santos situation. This was when Francis Ngannou was still a big opportunity. Francis Ngannou was still looked at like the next champion. He hadn't been exposed yet. And so Junior Dos Santos could have been that guy. If he would have made it to the second or third round with Francis, he could have fucking beat Francis and been on the way back to a title fight. So he got that stripped away from him. On top of that, he couldn't fight in the meantime. He had to pay for that training camp to fight Francis, pay his coaches, and then they take away the payday, so he doesn't get paid for it. And then while they figure shit out, he can't fight in the meantime. He can't go to Bellator. He can't go to boxing. He's just got to sit out while you guys figure out you fucked up. So he's losing wages. And then on top of that, now the fans start to look at him as someone who failed a drug test. Oh, Junior Dos Santos is a cheater. That's, you know what I'm saying, damaging that. So there's a lot of shit that goes on with USADA. Are the pros worth the cons? Yeah, you see a couple guys' bodies changing, but a lot of those guys were already past their prime anyway. You're like, oh, but look, Vitor Belfort doesn't look like TRT Tour anymore. Yeah, this motherfucker's 40 now. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily just because of USADA. Yeah, some guys aren't clearly going as overboard, But there's still some guys that beat the system, some guys that are innocent that get flagged. So is it really worth the fucking hassle of losing Jon Jones, losing Brock Lesnar, losing these Dos Santos versus Ngannou? Like, is it really worth it to even have USADA here? So if USADA goes, I'm completely fine with it. I don't want to see any of them lose their jobs. You know, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose their jobs, but I am advocating for them to at least get their shit together in the sense of taking away these big fights from us, and it's not even always accurate. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes on there. So I'd rather have the Jon Jones, like what we would have had Jon Jones. We would have already had Jon Jones versus Lesnar, honestly. Man, Cormier, and he kind of came out of nowhere. Jon Jones was just doing an interview, right? He was just asked, hey, what about DC at heavyweight? He just answered. Cormier could have, you know, whatever he says there, all he said was, I feel like I can beat him. I have his number. And Cormier fired off on him. So Cormier, really, he was probably just feeling antsy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like Jon Jones got in the interview like, yo, Cormier, yeah, that fat bastard, he ain't got a chance against me. He's a fucking fake champion. He's a paper champion. He didn't say nothing like that. He even gave DC his props. Said, hey, I think he was a little faster than me. He's going to fuck around and be faster than Brock Lesnar. He's going to beat Brock Lesnar. All Jon Jones said was, I can beat Daniel Cormier, and Daniel Cormier, you know, went left on him a little bit. But one thing I will say is, if this fight does happen at heavyweight, Jon Jones, with or without USADA, is going to be a little more powerful. You know, just being at heavyweight. So that same tendency he capitalized on at light heavyweight, he can capitalize on at heavyweight. That little duck to the left or the right that DC does, he's still going to be doing that. And being at heavyweight, Jon Jones is going to have that much more power, even if he was fighting at light heavyweight and you say he was on the juice or what the fuck ever. Even if you say that's the case and it gave him a little more power, well, now, even if he's clean fighting at heavyweight, that power is going to be made up. So it's still a tough fight for Daniel Cormier to, you know what I'm saying, if it happens at heavyweight and all of that. So we'll move on from that, though. But yeah, man, crazy, crazy topic. Let me see what the full-time family has to say about that. Honestly, I don't got a lot of time. We probably got like 30, 45 minutes before I got to get out of here. What's going on, full-time family? Yoza L says, Velasquez, like Jones, talking shit on Cormier on the cool. Fat Ninja Flip says they should bring back the show Battle Dome. Terry Crews was a monster on there. Royd guys could go on there. Yo, Ivan Hernandez says Conor via Cabo and elbow strikes in the first. James don't want no smoke with Velasquez, says Yosa L. Third Eye First says they should have a clean league and a Royd league. They could do that, honestly. With like, I don't even know about Bellator. I think they're trying to go more toward professional as well, but I ain't mad at it. Like, and this is how they do it. I already know what it would be, actually. The regular UFC and then the UFC's Legends League. Like, these young motherfuckers don't need to be on steroids. You guys can deal with USADA. But these old-ass motherfuckers that just want a little testosterone that their doctors might even prescribe, like, some of this shit is healthy for you. Some of this shit your doctor recommends, hey, you should get on testosterone. Oh, sorry, I can't, my job. Like, no, it's good for your health. Oh, sorry, my job doesn't want that for me. Like, so, a lot of the times, this shit's actually recommended by their doctors, and it's still forbidden. So, like, the Legends League, let these motherfuckers have testosterone. Boom, let's go. And now the regular UFC with these young killers, maybe they don't, but yeah, we could figure something out. Forrest says, Jones wants all the smoke with Kane. He wouldn't fear the man that trained DC. Hey, that would be a fucking great fight, honestly. Jon Jones versus Cain Velasquez. I'd rather see that than Jon Jones versus Brock, DC versus Brock, all of that shit. I want to see Jon Jones versus Cain Velasquez. But, as we found out, I believe, yesterday, or was it on the panel, actually, Cain Velasquez is going to be going to the WWE. So, but yeah, until the belt, Booger Bash. I see my boy Forward in here. Booger Bash 2018, Gorilla Smash 2018, and new coming up this weekend. All right, let's continue because I do got to get to work soon. Let's see what we got next. We got, oh, this is a great topic. See, we don't got a lot of topics to talk about today, but they're juicy. Like I said in the beginning, we could talk about these for a while. So with that being said, we have 38 people watching, 25 thumbs up. When you're finished biting your bagels, do your boy a favor. Don't be a baby back bagel biting bitch boy. Hit the thumbs up button for the one time. It'd be much appreciated. Now, let's get into this topic because I'm not going to spend too much time on this topic because for one, we don't have a lot of time. But for two, the only reason I wanted to talk about this really is because that 165-pound division and Tyron Woodley saying he'd be open to fighting there. Now, there's been talks of adding new weight classes, 165, 175, 185, and like, okay, I get it. I don't think it's going to solve the problems, but maybe it helps. Maybe people can fight closer to their natural weight. But I also propose to this. That's not going to fix the problem necessarily. Because what happens is you open up this 165-pound division, and everybody that made the cut to 170 now feels like they got to cut 5 more pounds. Yeah, of course, in a perfect world, they would just go up to 175 if they had a bad weight cut. But people cut this weight for a reason. They're cutting the weight to the lowest possible weight class. That's going to happen no matter how many divisions you put in. So they might try and kill themselves making 165 until they find out they can't do it or have a fucking seizure. And then they're like, okay, I need to move up. But one of the bigger welterweights, and when people talked about this 165-pound division, they talked about McGregor, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. Like, all of these small welterweights are big lightweights. Like, they would be perfect. And I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And especially in this division, it would work because they're the most stacked divisions. But what happens when you have fucking Darren Till or Tyron Woodley now trying to make 165? Use that example in any weight class. You make more weight classes. Now the guys at 170 are trying to make fucking 165. And Tyron Woodley is letting people know, like, yeah, I would definitely try and make that 165-pound cut. So just because you don't think that a fighter can make it or they should even try, don't mean they're not going to try. That's literally what's already happening. You might feel like Darren Till shouldn't be trying to make 170. Well, guess what? He's already doing that shit. So you're going to feel like he shouldn't try and make 165, but guess what? He's going to try. And if he can't, he can't. He'll go up to 175. But it's not just Darren Till. There's other big guys like Tyron Woodley that you don't think should ever make 165. But he's like, yo, if they make that division, of course I'm going to try and cut those 5 more pounds. And of course, it's the champ era. So if I can get the 175 belt, maybe I can get the 165 belt. Maybe I can get the 185 belt. Either way, he wants to try and make 165, which would possibly mean adding weight classes makes it worse for people's weight cuts. Because now you added weight classes, and these guys already making killer weight cuts are cutting even fucking lower. That's exactly what I was pointing out. Adding more weight classes doesn't solve everything. Maybe it helps. Maybe it's just the first step. But it could also be worse. And then now you might have guys cutting an extra 5 pounds. And like, look at Kelvin Gastelum. He's fighting at 185. I'm sure he would love to try. We know he wants to try and make 170 again. So 175, of course he tries to make that. And so who knows? Maybe that's a tough fucking weight cut for some people. 175. Maybe there's some guys at middleweight that are sort of small, and they're like, man, I have a tough time making middleweight, but if they open 175, I think I can make it. I think I can. I think I can. Even on some little engine that could shit. Even if it's not advisable. Even if you're like, no, you're already a big middleweight. What are you thinking? I think I can. People are going to try and cut more weight, and that is the opposite of what we want. Now, we'll see what happens, but that's all I'm saying. There's going to be fucking guys that this doesn't help. It actually harms. Because instead of Woodley or Till trying to make 170, now they're trying to make 165. Boom. That's the only point I wanted to bring up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it would be perfect if they didn't try to make 165, and they're just like, okay, I'll just go up. But they're going to fucking try it at least once. That's all I'm saying. And so, yeah, Woodley, speaking about that, he said, I heard they were thinking about that. I don't know which one I would do. I mean, I could make 165. It wouldn't be very sexy, but I could make it. And obviously, 75 would be a little easier to make than 170. And I could make 185 too. Those are 3 different weight classes that I could fight in and be extremely competitive in all of them. So he's definitely open to fighting at 165. He said, I would love to fight in a different division, you know. I walk around at 200 pounds, only having to drop 15 pounds wouldn't be a bad look at all for me. And so he walks around at 200 talking about cutting down to 165 and shit. But he said, I'm done about call-outs. I'm done. My goal is always beating and dominating who's in front of me. I'll let you guys decide who that is, because anytime I've ever taken speaking about how I want to fight, it's never taken the right way. My goal and the way I'm going to become the greatest of all time is dominating and annihilating whoever's in front of me, whoever that is. So Woodley's done with the calling people out because he got a good point. It never works for him. he calls out Nick Diaz, a champion in another division. Oh, you picking fights, Woodley? What the? And so he's like, all right. I'm just defending the title against the top contender. We've seen that multiple times now. He fought Wonderboy twice. He fought Maya. Now he's fighting Till. Then he's probably fighting Covington. Then he's probably fighting Usman. He's not, you know what? He wants the champ fight. He would love to have that opportunity. But if it's not coming, he's done complaining and all of that shit. And that's why you got to kind of give it to Tyron Woodley, because in the past, people called him a complainer. Now he's just taking that shit on the chin. Like, listen, I could complain about this shit, but I'm just going to fucking fuck all these dudes up. Fuck that. It is what it is, man. No more complaining. It don't work for me. Boom. I'm just going to fuck all these #1 contenders up. Y'all want me to wreck the welterweight division, and that's what I'll do. Let's get it. So I do respect that about Woodley as far as changing that approach, because the complaining was not working for him. Don't like people have pointed. It don't matter if you're right sometimes. If people don't like you or they don't want to hear what you have to say, it doesn't matter if you're right half the time or not. People don't, you know, you're complaining a lot of the time, so it doesn't matter whether you're right or not in your complaints. Complaints don't come off the right way. So 32 people watching, 30 thumbs up. That means there's at least 2 bagels still floating around. If you're finished biting your bagels, do your boy a favor, hit the thumbs up button as we move on. Let's see what the full-time family has to say about this real quick, though. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say or had to say about Woodley trying to make 165. Whining about money fights, not getting the title shot, respect, racism, boring, at Stamina MC. Talking about Tyron Woodley. For one, see, he gets that rap, but that's really just people who don't want to look any deeper. They if you want to hate on Woodley, you got the reasons. Oh, he's on TMZ, I hate him. Like, whatever. But at the same time, he does get a lot of shit as far as some of it's unproportionate. Maybe he does bring some of it on himself. But he's not the only one with boring fights. But every time you hear Woodley, you hear boring fights. Like when people talk about Till and Wonderboy, be honest. How often do people bring up their boring fights? If you're being honest with yourself, it's not equal. You know what I'm saying? As far as Wonderboy has probably had more boring fights than Tyron Woodley. If you're talking about throughout his career, that's just not a good style for entertainment. His last fight, he's on a fucking 3rd fight in a row. And when we talk about Wonderboy versus Lawler, we talk about how much we can't wait to see the fight, even though we know it could be a snoozer. But you don't paint Wonderboy as, you know, it's just it is what it is. There's differences, and that's why I don't even try and defend Woodley on that shit. Because however you want to feel, you're going to feel. I ain't going to convince you. Woodley ain't going to convince you. Let's just move on. That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, moving down, though, we got Third Eye First as the champ. That has not been promoted correct. It's simple. And what's it down to? He's even promoting himself out there. That's another thing. There's so much shit you got to respect. If you don't respect Tyron Woodley at this point, he stopped complaining. He's grinding, doing his own champ camp shit, out here hustling. When's the last time Tyron Woodley said something about a fucking money fight? And he's had plenty of opportunities. Recently, Nick Diaz has talked about coming back and fighting anybody at any weight class for any title. Tyron Woodley could have said, hey, what's up, motherfucker? But then people would have said, oh, why do you want to fight Nick Diaz? Tyron Woodley, GSP's talking about coming back at lightweight. Tyron Woodley could be making more of a stink about that, but he knows it's not going to play out for him. He could be saying, what, you don't want to fight at welterweight? That's not going to play out well for Woodley. So, he's just got to shut the fuck up, because no matter what, he can say everything right. There's going to be someone that's like, oh yeah, by the way, did you guys hear Tyron Woodley's boring? Like the next day. So it's just out there. The rap is in. So he's just doing what he has to do, grinding through it. We'll see what happens to UFC 228 shit. This whole Tyron Woodley shit might be behind us after this weekend. He might get knocked out and never get his just due, as at least what he feels like he deserves. You know what I'm saying? Because if he gets knocked out here, the Woodley saga is pretty much over. Ain't no greatest of all time. Ain't no champ. I don't even know if you're going to get a money fight unless you get a rematch. But do you think if Tyron Woodley gets knocked out, he's getting a rematch? No. I don't think the UFC is giving Woodley a rematch over Darren Till. Darren Till is like a next potential cash cow. They'll probably have him fighting. You know, he's going to be on the Conor McGregor path if he gets this win. Fuck around and fight in another division so that way you don't lose your belt, but it's still a big fight. You know, like, he's going to start fighting win-wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, win-win scenarios. I'll go up a weight class. You know, if I lose, I don't lose my belt. If it is what it is, I'll take the loss on the chin. Like, Till's got a lot of potential if he wins. And so, and honestly, I think some people, maybe even in the UFC, are probably ready for Woodley to be the fuck on out of here. But he's working hard. If you watched his champ camps, if you've watched any of them, like, to me, whenever I see how hard somebody trains, it lets me know a lot about the fight. Like, there's a difference when some people train, like, yeah, they work up a light sweat and shit. But whenever I've seen, like, not just Tyron Woodley, I saw this in Amanda Nunes before she fought Valentina, before she fought the fight before Valentina. I was like, God damn, like, when I watch everybody's training, when everyone's training don't look the same. Amanda Nunes looks like she's in there training harder than everyone in the gym. When she's working, she looks like she's the hardest worker in there. When Tyron Woodley's training, this motherfucker's sweat drips out of his beard, his fucking whole being. Like, it's just, this motherfucker's working hard. And so those people that work hard like that in training, I can almost see it in their training. Some people, they'll have a light sweat when the cameras are around, but they ain't looking like they're dogged out, exhausted. And I see that kind of out of those, you know, Tyron Woodley, Amanda Nunes, those people that have really rose to the top of their division, despite what the fans say about them. Tyron Woodley and Amanda Nunes didn't make it to the top of the division because the fans supported them. That's not the case. Actually, it's been the opposite. A lot of the times, you can't do shit right. Even though Amanda Nunes literally had a proven history of sinusitis. I went back and proved it after she came out with it. A year or so before, she had the exact same sinusitis issue where she talked about her sinuses and shit like that. So there was a proven history of sinusitis where everyone was like, Amanda's scared. Amanda can't beat Valentina. Like, that's just, they're not fan favorites. People know who they are because of what they've done, but neither one of them really are like the fan favorites. You know, they don't get the opportunities because the fans, he's got 6 million Brazilian followers behind Amanda Nunes. Let's put her in a title fight. Tyron Woodley's got 30 million followers. Let's get him a title fight. Let's get him a money fight. No, that doesn't happen for these guys. They got to fight the titles, still deal with criticism even after they win. And I respect that grind. You know, a lot of people don't like Woodley, and a lot of people don't like Nunes, but at least you got to respect them, and it is what it is. So we'll move on from that, though. Everlove's Drug says, and no one would listen to him, and he just said, they just said he was race baiting. That's another thing. like, it is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he got painted as a race baiter, boring, complainer, wants money fights. Like, he got labeled as all of that shit already. Like, you know what I'm saying? You say it one time, and that's Tyron the race baiter Woodley, Tyron the boring Woodley, Ty Quill. Like, all of these fucking names and disses and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But hey, he just, what's he doing? Putting his head down and grinding. That's some shit he could complain about. If Tyron Woodley wanted to keep complaining, he could come out and say, listen, man, every time I fucking say something, it gets taken the wrong way. What's up with this shit? But what's he doing? He ain't even complaining about that shit no more. Fuck it, let's get to work. I know. How about this? Y'all coordinate y'all's ass whoopings. Who wants it first? Till, Covington, Usman, you want in the mix? Like, how's this going? Clearly, I ain't getting none of these other fights. It is what it is. Let's just fuck all these guys up, and eventually there's probably not going to be no more fucking contenders, and y'all are going to have to give me a money fight. Eventually, I'm going to show y'all I'm the best welterweight of all time, and GSP is going to either have to come take that title or fight at lightweight and do these pick and choosing type deals. You know what I'm saying? That's another guy, GSP. He is a fan favorite, so he doesn't get the criticisms that he could get. People could talk about how GSP is taking the easy fights on his return. They could talk about how he's picking and choosing on his return. But no, it's just like, no, GSP, you know, it makes sense. He's the greatest. You know, people could talk about how he's not choosing to fight at his division. You've got a reigning defending champion. This ain't some fluky champion. Tyron Woodley's the reigning defending champion, making a case for greatest welterweight of all time. Of course, people give GSP the nod, but he's trying to be the greatest of all time, and GSP is not open to that challenge. If GSP felt like he could beat him, he would have probably took the fight. He went up to fight Bisping. A lot of people felt like they could beat Bisping. A lot of people wanted to fight Bisping, and everyone wanted to, but GSP got the fight. He got up there, took the title, and since then, he didn't fight no damn middleweights. He didn't fight no welterweights. It's like, okay, how about I come back and fight Bisping, and then maybe whoever wins out of that lightweight fight, I'll take you next. Like, what? Honestly, if people wanted to, they could give him a lot more shit for that, but they don't. If the shoe was on the other foot, who knows? But hey, 32 people watching, 35 thumbs up. That means pretty much all the bagels are out. But if you're listening on the replay, or even if you haven't hit thumbs up yet, do your boy a favor. Hit thumbs up. Ray Borg versus Joseph Benavidez. That fight was rescheduled because of Ray Borg's legal beef with Conor McGregor. I saw that shit as soon as the fight got announced. I was like, what? The UFC just booked Ray Borg on the same card as Conor McGregor? Are they asking for a fucking, like, protection order violation? Ray Borg and Michael Chiesa, two fighters who got, cut or scratched by the glass on the dolly attack, they both afterward, and I feel like they had to. I don't think it's something they would have just did because they're scared of Conor McGregor. But they went afterwards and they filed protections of abuse or protection orders against Conor McGregor. You know, the type that says you can't be within this amount of feet of these people or you're in violation and you can go back to jail. So Conor McGregor has to stay a certain amount of a distance from Ray Borg and Michael Chiesa. And now, for one, I'm just going to be honest, and it is what it is. Maybe even if it's not. That sounds like some pussy shit. I'm just being honest. If you're a fucking fighter and you got a protection from abuse or a protection order on another fighter, that sounds bad. And so that's why a lot of people, including myself, I was under the impression that had to do with some sort of lawsuit. Yeah, okay, maybe you guys are going to sue Conor McGregor. I don't know why the fuck you wouldn't. He made this money on Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's got all this money, the highest paid UFC athlete ever, really taking everything all of you are working for. I mean, Conor McGregor being the highest paid athlete, he's not the only person that built the UFC up. You know, all of the fighters kind of helped make the UFC what it is. And with that being said, I could easily see if Conor McGregor did something to someone on the street, an accident, they're not going to sue like something he was in the wrong. He was in the wrong here. Conor McGregor fucked up. You guys missed out on your money. Like we talked about earlier, how some of these people could sue USADA. Loss of wages. So Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg were supposed to be fighting, had to go to the hospital, fights got canceled. That's a loss of wages. I mean, there's a lot of shit that they could have sued for. And you would think the fact that they have this protection order, that's in line with the lawsuit. I know I would be. I'm not just getting a protection order because I don't want Conor McGregor near me. What the fuck? Are you going to get PTSD when you see Conor McGregor? Like, I don't see Ray Borg or Michael Chiesa getting a protection order against Conor McGregor unless they're going to sue him. Because if not, that looks kind of bad. Like, what? You just got a protection order from this guy? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and then on top of that, you're kind of fucking yourself over. Like, fighting on Conor McGregor's card, fighting on UFC 229 is a big opportunity. You're just going to have a lot of eyes on your fight. And so, shit, now if you're Ray Borg or Michael Chiesa, you can't even fight on McGregor's cards because you got, like, a protection order. Motherfucker, you better be suing this dude, and maybe he'll settle. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you sue him for like $1 million, what if he settles for like 100,000 something? Get that fucking cash. What are you talking about? What's going on here? He did. It's not like you're suing him for nothing. He did crack a fucking window, get your fight rescheduled, canceled, scratch your fucking cornea with the eye. You had a cut on your head. Both your fights were rescheduled. It's not like he did absolutely nothing. So, I mean, with that being said, though, the fight was rescheduled. Joseph Benavidez, he didn't get hit with no damn glass. It was Ray Borg. He's supposed to be fighting Ray Borg. So Joseph Benavidez is kind of actually losing out on this opportunity. He was about to be fighting on a McGregor card, but it's like, oh, my opponent, he fucking has a protection order, so we got to fight over here. So Benavidez is revealing that that is actually what had to happen. He said, as far as I understand, Borg and Conor have a legal beef from New York because Borg was one of the victims of the Conor thing. It wasn't anything Borg did. I guess Borg is like, dude, I don't care. That wasn't my thing. I never fought him on it. It was filed right away. It wasn't like Borg said, don't have me near Conor. It's just whenever you get into that action with the civil system, they just file it. These people can't be next to each other. And I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? They can't just say, hey, Ray Borg and Michael Chiesa, you have to fucking come and get this protection order against McGregor if you're not doing a lawsuit. I mean, that's kind of how he's explaining it, but in my experience, I know a lot of people that have filed fucking protections from abuse. Females, dudes. I even know bitch-ass dudes that have filed protection from abuses on their girls. Like, no, fuck that. She can't come back to the house. She's the one tripping out this time. I've literally seen a lot of protection orders filed, and it's usually not a situation where the police make you or the legal system makes you. It's where you're trying to get this motherfucker away from you, so you go up to the courthouse and file that shit. And so with that being said, both of these guys have it. But he said that they kind of made him do it. And I could kind of see that on the UFC's part, maybe. Maybe they recommended it to him or they advised it. But I don't see him, like, make it like, no, you have to go get a fucking protection order against McGregor. Like, it really just seems like a part of a lawsuit, the beginning of a lawsuit. Like, you can't sue Conor McGregor if you don't get a protection order. And also, if you don't have the loss of wages, you have to show that it actually affected you. And so that this protection order that actually would have helped in a lawsuit. So that's a question I want to hear asked. Do you either of you guys plan on like suing anybody for that whole incident? You both lost money, really. Money taken out of your family's mouth. I mean, it was rescheduled. You already had to pay your camp. Now what, you got to pay your trainers an extra month or however long. Now, their fights did get rescheduled pretty quick afterwards, so the UFC's probably safe because it's like, look, they weren't out for some fucking year. Like, we rescheduled their fight next month. They were cool. It wasn't that serious. But you could at least get a settlement. And if you're not broke, maybe you don't think like that. Maybe you don't need the money. You're like, fuck that. I'm not going to sue this dude just for like $100,000. But like I said, it's not even like it's going to be a super long process. You already started it off by getting your fight canceled and having this protection order. So, I mean, likely what happens is you go to sue and they don't want to deal with this shit, especially with the fight coming up. They settle. They got the money to pay you. McGregor just fought Floyd Mayweather. He's about to fight in the next biggest fight of all time. McGregor's got money. He's got the Mac life. He's got so much fucking opportunities outside of the sport. As a hungry fighter that doesn't make what McGregor makes, you don't even want like a little sliver. Like, you ain't even gonna get a piece of the pie, but you might be able to get a sliver since this jackass came down here and threw a fucking dolly at your window, broke your window. Yeah, you deserve a little, and deserve might be the wrong word, but yeah, get you a little fucking piece. Fuck it. You didn't ask Conor McGregor to get your fucking fight canceled. For one, the fight was rescheduled, and that could have been a bigger opportunity than where you actually ended up fighting. A lot of reasons why. I don't see no motherfucking harm and no foul in suing McGregor. Even if you're in game as a settlement, I don't actually want to break this dude. I don't actually want to take everything he's worked for. I don't want to do nothing like that. I just want you to pay for that bullshit you did that got my fight recanceled, rescheduled, and throwing that fucking dolly at the window. You asshole. That's all I want. Give me a little settlement. Boom, 100,000, we're good. That makes up for 2 fights. Next time, get your shit together. Don't do that. Next time, you'll think about throwing a fucking dolly. Because right now, there's not many repercussions. There's a little bit of money, but he ain't got no damn lawsuits, it don't seem, from McGregor or Chiesa, which it seemed like could have came. Not even just them. Like, so, McGregor's still getting off a little free, and it is what it is. You know, if I was one of these fighters, but I'm broke as fuck, so maybe that explains why. You can let me know what you would do. But I know a lot of people that would be suing here. And like I said, not to ruin Conor McGregor, not to ruin his life, not to take him down, just to get compensated for that bullshit. You threw the fucking dolly. I didn't ask you to throw a dolly and get my fight fucking rescheduled. So you can either do this shit like a man and just come up and cut me a check because you got the money, just come up and cut me a fucking check. Or if you don't want to cut me a check for that bullshit, we'll just go but this whole legal system, and we'll do it that way. So either way, the fight's rescheduled, and you know, clearly it's going to be this fight rescheduled. They're not going to move McGregor versus Khabib. So it's like now these guys, for one, they got hit, you know, with the glass, and now they can't even be in the same vicinity as McGregor. Like, if you're not suing him, you're getting shit on a little bit here. Like, your fight got rescheduled. Now, you can't fight on this card. You have to move your fight and reschedule around McGregor. And he's the one that threw the fucking dolly at you. You ain't getting nothing out of that. So, it is what it is, man. UFC probably paid him something under the table to drop. It says remove Lizard. That could be very well, too. I mean, I did see Michael Chiesa not too long after that did get, like, a commentary gig. You know, hey, yeah, you could sue McGregor, right? Like, you could, Chiesa, but that's not a good look. I tell you what, how about we give you this? Salary. You might fuck around and get a pension. Motherfucking, you got a job after you're done fighting. You ain't got to fight as much. Now you can do commentator work. You're on Fox and shit. Like, just chill on McGregor. I don't know what the hell they gave Ray Borg. We're just speculating at this point. But, yeah, I mean, that is a possibility, though. You know, because there's not just McGregor. They potentially could have named the UFC in the suit. I mean, we saw that in Mark Hunt's lawsuit. He named hella people. Brock Lesnar, I think Dana White, the UFC. I wouldn't be surprised. He named a bunch of people, and you know, the fact that it was their bust, their athlete, maybe they could have been in the mix in the lawsuit, and so maybe they did like, hey, y'all, just chill. We're gonna take care of this. We'll hook you up. Here's a job for you. Who knows? You know, just speculation. We got Freakish Mob says remove. That's a good point. McGregor should be in jail right now. Says I don't even know how to pronounce that. Benny, is it Bindi? You got a 3 and a 6 in your name, so I don't even know. I see you all the time, but I don't know how it's pronounced with that 3 and that 6. Freakish says if he doesn't fight Khabib fast, prison is shit against the beating he will take. Oh, if he doesn't knock out Khabib fast, prison is shit compared to the beating he will take. Honestly, yeah, right? There's a good enough punishment, right? Like, what's the worst punishment we could give McGregor? Oh, we can throw him in there with fucking Khabib. Yeah, fuck that. Hey, guys, don't sue him. We got something better for him. He's got to take on the fucking Mauler. You know what I'm saying? Like that was their sinister, like, punishment. Like, fuck that. We're going to take care of everything. We just want to make sure he shows up to fight Khabib. That's his punishment. Because, yeah, if Khabib gets you down, that is a hell of a fucking punishment. Why don't Conor grant Borg or Chiesa a UFC bout and everyone is happy? Grant them a bout? I don't know what you mean by that, but, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ray Borg, he don't even care at this point. After he had his son and he had some health issues, he was like, listen, I don't got no hard feelings toward Conor McGregor. I'm just happy that he's a dad, he's got a healthy son, and he gets to go home to his kid. Now that I've got my kid, it really puts shit into perspective. So Ray Borg's not tripping really either. Looking forward to Inside the Octagon. Woodley versus Till. Dan Hardy's breakdowns are elite. Man, they are. He knows exactly. They got the fucking screen, breaks it down, like, watch, he's about to do this, blah, blah, blah. Dan Hardy, those Inside the Octagons are definitely dope. 30 people watching, 37 thumbs up. We got a couple more things to talk about before we get out of here. Kevin Lee says he turned down that $100,000 gay for pay. I'm sorry, that $100,000 grappling match with Dylan Dennis. Kind of find it hard to believe that Dylan Dennis turned this down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go too far on this. I'll just tell you guys, before this episode, I had to go put my Gator in the car because it was too loud. It was too loud. But yeah, this is what he had to say as far as the fight being scrapped. Not scrapped, but he said Dylan Dennis didn't really want any smoke. He said, I'm not sure. They didn't even get that far. I don't think his management reached out to mine, so I don't know. Or he said I don't think. His management reached out to mine, so I don't know. I don't even think they got that far, to be honest. I think they're thinking of a time and a place. I think they went back to him and asked him if we can do combat jiu-jitsu, and he shut it down. So it looks like Dylan Dennis doesn't want to do combat jiu-jitsu. He just wants the grappling. And that does make a little more sense. You know, he probably just wants to roll around with Kevin Lee, you know, body on body. Like he said, it was going to be in a fucking room, just them two. Like, the details were sketchy. Before you think I'm going crazy or out of line with this, let me tell you about the details for this fucking $100,000 grappling match, allegedly. Supposedly, Kevin Lee said that Dylan Dennis' team reached out to him. They wanted a $100,000 grappling match, not at like some open venue, just in a room where it was just them. And I started thinking already, my Gator already started beeping. Like, what? A $100,000 jiu-jitsu match with nobody watching in a motel room? What the fuck happens after the cameras go off? Pause. I'm just saying, like, that did not sound kosher to me. Not because I have anything against gay people. It just seemed like that's what I would be watching, and I just don't watch that. Literally, I've said this in the past. Take it as a joke. I'll suck a dick. Now, it's a joke. I'm just saying that to let those people know I'm not homophobic. You have to do that. Like, I'm not homophobic. I don't care. There could be a gay dude right here beside me, and I'd give him a hug. Like, it'd be side, it'd be standoff. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? I really don't care if you're gay at all. But I don't watch gay porn. I'll tell you that. But just because I'm not gay, don't mean I gotta watch gay porn. And that's what this reminded me of. Pause. I don't even know how it would remind me of it because I don't know if I've ever watched it. Weird. How don't I know that? No, but you get the point. That's what I thought of. I don't know why. You remember that jiu-jitsu line Chael Sonnen had when he was going against the Brazilians? He was like, or yeah, they fucking go in there with their master, you know, with their clothes off, and they call it jiu-jitsu. Like, that was one of the funniest lines ever from Chael Sonnen. But that's what I thought of whenever Dylan Dennis, $100,000. And if I'm out of line, please stop me whenever you want. Am I the only one that's heard of gay for pay? Am I the only one? Like, $100,000 is a lot to turn down. If you're Kevin Lee, I could eat. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Whenever I heard about a $100,000 grappling match in a bedroom with no fans, like, you motherfuckers don't even want to sell tickets? How are you going to make that $100K back? You motherfuckers ain't even going to be selling Pepsis and beers and popcorn and shit. Like, y'all don't even want to sell, like, geese or black belts, you know, for fun, for the fans. Like, you don't want to sell nothing? They're talking about, like, putting it on YouTube. Like, y'all ain't even gonna sell this shit on Flow Grappling or, like, fucking Submission Underground? Like, what are we talking about? $100,000 to fucking wrestle with Dylan, or jiu-jitsu with Dylan Dennis in a motel room? like, I don't know. It just seemed like some, you know, like I said, stop me when I'm out of line. I could honestly just see like some fucking billionaire, millionaire dude, you know what I'm saying? One of the gay ones. Nothing wrong with them. They're out there. Nothing wrong with anybody that's gay. But I could easily see if, okay, it's like me. Let's say I had $1 billion. I would pay Mackenzie Dern to fucking do some jujitsu with, who's another badass fighter? You know what I'm saying? Like Miesha Tate. If I had $1 billion, I would pay for a fucking private Mackenzie Dern versus Miesha Tate grappling match in the bedroom. Like, you know what I'm saying? No fans, no, just a camera. I would pay for that shit. So there's probably a gay dude that would pay for Kevin Lee and Dylan Dennis to do the same shit. It ain't nothing. It's just sexuality. Don't get scared. I'm just saying, that came to my mind, so I spit it out there. So it is what it is. I need more than 100K to go gay for Paces Forward. I don't. Pause. No, I'm broke as fuck, dog. Holla at me if you got 50, Dylan. No, I'm just kidding. Chill. Chill. It's just jujitsu, right? We can keep our clothes on? We're good. Give me the 50. Someone says, sounds like a sex tape more than a grappling match. That's all I'm saying. I'm glad I'm not the only one out of left field here. It's more brave to come out as a straight person than to say you're gay. They literally want you to apologize for it by saying, cis, by naming us cis. I don't know nothing about that shit. I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast and I hear about the cisgendered and all that shit. That's past my time, man. That's for the... I'm like Joey Diaz when it comes to shit like that. Man, y'all handle that. I ain't got time to deal with that shit. I'm trying to figure my own shit out. Y'all deal with the whole cisgendered, gay-gendered bathrooms. You guys do that shit. I ain't got time for it. Remove Lizard LMAO full-time. You're silly, bro. I'm just saying, let's move on, bro. I gotta get to work soon. Let's go. I fuck with y'all full-time family. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with big full-time. So that's actually means a lot to you boys. So thank you guys for chilling with me while we talk some MMA. Let's continue. Paige VanZant's arms healed, and she's cleared to fight on her ESPN debut in January, and we reported this. It was recently rumored, and then right afterward, Paige VanZant was like, "No, guys, it's not official." I guess she just wanted to like announce it herself, right? Because we heard the rumors that not just Paige VanZant and her opponent was going to be Rachel Ostovich. Paige VanZant versus Rachel Ostovich, smoke show. They could be on the undercard in the fucking jiu-jitsu match if I was a billionaire and I had my whole little fantasy female jiu-jitsu tournament going on in a room where no one can buy beverages or anything for me to make my money back. But I'm just saying, I would fucking watch Rachel Ostovich versus Paige VanZant on the motherfucking prelims. That's all I'm saying. Fucking time out. They both look great. And on ESPN's debut, you could imagine, you know what I'm saying? That's a good look for ESPN. I mean, you're about to be on 1,000 millions of more TVs and platforms worldwide whenever you move to ESPN. And so with that being said, you want some good-looking people on the card. You know what I'm saying? First impression. We all know about first impressions. Make a good motherfucking first impression. So who do you put on the card? Paige VanZant, Wonder Boy. Maybe you get Sage Northcutt on the second one. I'm just saying. There's already been talks of Paige VanZant and Wonder Boy on the first card. And it seems like some first impression type shit. You know, you got your clean cut, very marketable Wonder Boy and Paige VanZant opening up the show. It is what it is. That's what's going on in my mind. And now, with that being said, both Wonder Boy and Paige VanZant have refuted those. Like, no, we're not fighting on the first card at ESPN. Who told you that? But actually, now Paige VanZant's coming out and saying, all right, guys, it's official. Fucking, I can officially announce, you heard it here first, I will be taking a fight on January 18th on the first ever ESPN card. We're going to be getting an opponent matched up. We know the opponent. Stop bullshitting us, Paige VanZant. It's Rachel Ostovich. And even if they do change it up because it got out early, they were still right about saying Paige VanZant's going to be on the card. And so they're probably right about Wonder Boy versus Lawler. That's the fight that was rumored, that was leaked out. You know, it seems like some news that wasn't supposed to be out yet, but somebody had a big mouth and got it out there because they actually did try and pull that news back. Like, no, Lawler versus Wonder Boy's not official. Wonder Boy, go tell them that motherfucking fight's not official, dog. So Wonder Boy came out like, yo, by the way, I don't know who I'm fighting next. He gave his opinion on Woodley versus Till. He was like, I got 4 opponents in mind. It could be Usman. It could be fucking RDA. It could be Lawler. It's Lawler. You heard it here fucking second. Paige VanZant's going to be fighting on the card. Wonderboy's likely fighting on the card against Lawler. Fight all the fans would love to see. You got Wonderboy and Paige breaking in the new era of ESPN. I ain't mad at them. They got very fucking marketable faces. It is what it is. That's all I see in this. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this news to you that Paige announced her fight because recently it got refuted. Like, I want to say 2 days ago, Paige came out. By the way, I'm not fighting on that card. It's not official. And then 2 days later, she's like, okay, guys, I'm here. I'm there. No opponent yet. If it's Rachel Ostovich, we knew it. You know what I'm saying? I actually think those fights are agreed upon. Like, it's crazy because they both had the opponents. Like, somebody came out and said Paige versus Rachel, Wonderboy versus Lawler. Like, they had both of the opponents. And they refuted it, but now we're seeing that it might actually come to fruition. Either way, UFC 228, Nicco Montano inspired by Henry Cejudo's upset win over Demetrious Johnson. Oh, this is so funny. Oh, full-time family, this is so funny. It's so fucking funny. Because I was at on the coach's show. I was at work, so I couldn't be live or anything or working on my own channel. So I was just at work on break. Coach was live. I popped in there. I was having a fucking debate with this fucking troll, and I don't know why I was feeding him. He was literally telling me that fucking Nicco Montano can win. He was telling me he was telling me Nicco's gonna win. I was like, dude, if you don't shut the fuck up, like, it was starting to piss me off. I was like, why the fuck am I've explained to you 3 times that this is one of the stupidest things you probably said in your existence. This is not happening. And this is what he said. He said, Cejudo can do it. And now look at this goddamn headline. I'm done. He said, if Cejudo can do it, why can't Nicco? He said, if Rose can do it, why can't Nicco? Oh my God. If Holly can do it, why can't Nicco? Because Nicco's not fucking Cejudo. Nicco's not an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. Nicco has 1 fight in the UFC. 7 fights total. And that's if you're giving her 1. Because Sherdog says 6 fights. If you go to Holly Holm, she was a professional boxer, kickboxer. She had legit UFC fights before she fought Rousey. You can go to motherfucking Rose Namajunas. She beat legit UFC competition, top-level fighters, and fought in the UFC to earn her title shot. She didn't just get gifted a title shot and upset the champion. Different. And, oh, by the way, specifically Henry Cejudo, please don't fucking compare yourself to Henry Cejudo. Out of all of the examples, Henry Cejudo is the furthest that I want anyone to compare an upset to. The Mystic Full-Time Panel, Forward, Infamous, everybody. Before Cejudo fought Demetrious Johnson, we picked Cejudo. You know why? Not because we were crazy, not because we were having fun, not because we don't like Demetrious, because we actually are hardcore fans and we fucking realize he has the skill set and the potential to beat DJ in a rematch. Yes, DJ was the GOAT, but Henry Cejudo was not only an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, he also already fought DJ once. And not on top of that, since his first fight with DJ, it wasn't an immediate rematch, or he probably lost. He took 2 years off after fighting fucking DJ, got better and better. We saw it in front of our own eyes. He knocked out Wilson Hayes, fucking almost ragdolled Sergio Pettis, just had the better wrestling. He even beat Joseph Benavidez, even though he lost the split. He got robbed. So he fought DJ already once, still had his wrestling credentials, went on to win 3 more fights after that, and made his way back to the fucking title. So Nicco Montano, for 1, doesn't have an Olympic fucking gold medal in wrestling. For 2, she's got 1 fucking UFC fight. I don't want to scream too loud because my girl's still asleep, but you get the fucking point. Don't compare Nicco to Cejudo. It's different. Like, I'm not going to do this, man, because I really feel like there's been too much. Like, everyone gets it at this point. Nicco's not winning. Like, it's almost at this point to where it's like, it's almost to where she has to win. Like, it's almost like the MMA gods. Everyone's putting it into the ethos that she has no chance. And this sport is so fucking unexpected. Like, the fact that we're all not giving her a chance is going to be how she fucking wins. It's like, oh, MMA guys are going to be like, oh, you all thought what? Let me show you, this is my fucking sport. And they're going to fucking just shut us all up. Nicco wins, and we're going to just have to fucking forget everything we knew about MMA. Because if Nicco Montano beats Valentina Shevchenko, this whole shit is fucked. that means it's any given Sunday for real. Valentina, there's levels to this shit. There's levels to this shit. And when you're talking about Nicco to Valentina, she might be like 5 levels up. She was a badass in Muay Thai before she even sniffed MMA. Now she's over in MMA beating up the best motherfucking females at bantamweight. So now she's at her natural weight class and she's taking on a chick with like 6 pro fights. There's just no way in hell that a win should be possible in this fight. But now with that being said, what do you got? A puncher's and a submission's chance. I think even if you look at Nicco Montano's win history, she's got 0 wins by submission. So then you have to almost say, okay, well, all she can do is knock Valentina out. But if you think Valentina can't deal with a fucking knockout artist, like she's going to have to put herself in a bad position. And oh, by the way, Nicco doesn't have a gold medal in wrestling, so it's not like she's going to be able to control Valentina on the ground if she takes her down. And it's not even like she's going to be able to take Valentina down to try and submit her. The only way she submits Valentina is if Valentina fucking takes her down and makes a mistake. Because Valentina's going to have the better wrestling. And so, with that being said, how's Nicco going to get her down? Unless Valentina takes the fight to the mat. Valentina's the better striker. So unless she somehow counters Valentina and knocks her out like a fucking heavyweight, oh, by the way, she's a female flyweight, not a men's heavyweight. So she's probably not knocking bitches out just at the blink of an eye. It gives Valentina that much more margin of error. Like, it's not going to be a one-shot, one-kill for Nicco. So the win chances are crazy. I think the better conversation here is how is Valentina going to win? Not is she going to win. Not even can Nicco win. The better question is how is Valentina going to win? And honestly, I'm sure a lot of people think that she might steamroll Nicco. That'll be my bold prediction. I actually think Nicco makes it to the 3rd round, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, she doesn't have great wrestling. I don't think she can win the fight by any means. But what her strong suits are her boxing and her jiu-jitsu. And even those, she's not no fucking black belt, but boxing. That's going to be how, kind of like we saw we saw Holly Holm survive against Chris Cyborg. She was able to really use her footwork and survive. She wasn't winning the fight by any means, but at least she survived and made it to the decision because she's got good footwork. And so I believe Nicco's father was a boxer. Just having that boxing background, she'll at least have some solid footwork to be able to dance around the ring and run from Valentina, I think, for a couple of rounds. And that's where I think, and I said this in Coach's chat, and someone was like, what, Valentina doesn't throw leg kicks? I didn't say she was going to fucking kick her legs from under her like Edson Barboza or Justin Gaethje. But what I'm saying is, in order to slow Nicco's footwork down, in order to slow Nicco's movement down, I could very well see Valentina having to chop her legs down just a little bit. You know, whether it's the inside calf kick, just calf kicks, whatever it takes to slow her movement down. I could see Valentina having to do that to slow Nicco down and actually catch up to her. Because Nicco's going to have good footwork. She could very well come in here and just try and avoid an ass whooping for 5 rounds. So I don't think she's going to get armbarred or knocked out in the 1st round, but I still think she loses. But my bold prediction is she makes it past 3 rounds. Was it that bad? I still haven't watched it yet. I just watched also the tough season, episode 1 for female featherweights and men's heavyweights. I just watched that last night. By the way, if any of you guys have saw that. Whatever happened to Karate Hottie? She's going to be fighting Felice Herrig, I believe, coming up. Maybe at UFC 229? Leon Dubson said, how low it, talking to Stamina. Yusuf says it's not going to be there. 1-punch chance. Bullet knows it too. That's what I'm saying. Like, and Valentina knows the only way you beat me is if you knock me out. You think she's going to put her fucking chin out there? Like, oh, here's your chance. Right here. Or she's going to do some crazy movement to where, like, literally, Nicco would have to, like, it would have to be like some check hook, some counter. She would have to counter Valentina and knock her out. She's not going to be able to come forward at Valentina and win. Like, it's going to have to be some defensive miracle. That's literally how she's got to win. But, yeah, she said she's inspired by Cejudo. And like I said, this is one of the worst. No, you can't be because you're not Cejudo. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's fucking different. It's not just, oh, a big underdog won. No, that's way fucking different, dog. Absolutely, as I said, it's not about labels. It's about heart and will and sacrifices. I've made them all. She said, it's not going to get me at the end of the fight to see that we've been through a battle and then see what the outcome is. So she looks like she might be planning to make it to a decision there. But she says, definitely seeing Cejudo, I was there for that fight up close and personal, and you could just see the pace, and you could see how much both of those fighters were willing to put in the cage. That was a spectacular fight, and Cejudo came out victorious, and he was the underdog. So that's definitely something that's in my head now. Well, that being in your head is going to get you fucked up even more. You go in there thinking you got a chance. It don't matter how you go in here. It don't matter what thoughts are in your mind. This is actually a fight where mental warfare don't mean shit. It don't matter if you piss Valentina off. You can say some shit about her sister, say some shit about Pavel, tell her anything, and you're not going to get... Valentina could come in here mad, happy, sad, 30%, 50%, and probably win this. But like I said, it's different. Just seeing an underdog win doesn't mean every underdog will win. One underdog has different skills than the next underdog. So you can't just say, Cejudo won, why can't I? That's why that shit don't work. To Nicco and to the dipshit I was debating with, who was it? Fucking TC Johnson? No, it wasn't TC. That wasn't TJ. Who the fuck was it over in Coach's chat? BJ. His name was like BJ something. Fucking BJ Johnson, maybe? Motherfucking BJ. That motherfucker is delusional. Either way. This topic right here, I don't do this. I don't usually say, hey, they're listening to the channel. I don't usually say that shit. But this headline low-key pissed your boy off, and let me explain why. If you read it and you keep up with the channel, you probably fucking know why. But me specifically, let me just break it down. So it says, Kayla Harrison expects to hold a major MMA title by the end of 2019. Ooh, I don't want to fucking just go into the media because that's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to extend my shadow ban. Woosah, woosah. That's not what fucking Kayla said. That is not what fucking Kayla said. She did not say she will hold a major title by the end of 2019. If you've been listening to this channel, you know it's 2020, baby. For Kayla Harrison specifically. 2020. 2020. Motherfucking 2020. Let's go, dog. That's all I'm... 2020. And so that's why this is not what fucking Kayla said. She did not say 2019 she will hold a major title. She said by the end, and I'll pull it up. How can you fucking put this in the headline and then have what she actually said down here? She said, I picture that every night. I have since I first decided that I was going to fight. That's the end goal. Here it is. Here it is. I fully expect by the end of 2019, next year, I fully expect by the end of 2019, I will be one of the best, if not the best in the world. Where the fuck does that say anything about a major title? Because if I'm reading that, if fucking Big Full Time's reading that, that's right on fucking line with 2020. I plan on being the best in the world, if not the best in the world by the end of 2019. So if you are now considered one of the best in the world by the end of 2019 or the best in the world by the end of 2019, guess what the fuck that means you're ready for? Cyborg in 2020. Motherfucking 2020. You're going to take all of 2019 becoming the best. And then by the end of 2019, you are going to be ready to take on Cyborg in 2020, people. 2020. So with that being said, and also that's just her, that's her expectations. I completely agree with these expectations. Kayla Harrison's already one of the best female featherweights in the world. Fuck what you're talking about. And when I say that, people are like, what are you talking about? Oh, Chris Cyborg. But I'm not going to even get pissed off at you people because you guys just aren't good at comprehension. I understand it. It's not your fault. People act like if Kayla Harrison can't beat Chris Cyborg, she can't be one of the best fucking fighters in the world. What if she beats everybody else? Are you telling me that fucking Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Darren Till, they're not some of the best welterweights in the world because haven't beat Woodley yet? No, they're still some of the best in the world because you know why? Every fucking buddy else on the planet, they'll whoop their ass in any fucking organization. Doesn't matter the organization. Bring over your favorite welterweight from fucking Bellator and put him in there with Usman. Bring over your fucking favorite welterweight from fucking the ACB and put him in there with Darren Till. That's all I'm fucking saying. They're still best in the world. I'm not saying Kayla Harrison can beat Cyborg today. But I'm saying is put her in there with fucking Megan Anderson. Tell me what happens. Who the fuck else is there at women's featherweight? It's not hard to be one of the best women's featherweights in the world. I mean, we just saw bantamweight Holly Holm stepping up and out grappling Megan Anderson. So what the fuck is 155-pound two-time Olympic judo gold medalist gonna do? And we even, not to mention that, after Kayla Harrison's first fight, they said, oh, she just fought Brittany Elkins. She's 3-4. Oh, she fought a girl that had a losing record. It's her first fucking pro fight. What do you want her to do? Fight someone that's 20-0? You want her to fight Cyborg in her first fight? Of course she fought fucking Brittany Elkins in her first fight. At least Brittany Elkins had 7 pro fights. You know what a lot of people do? Whenever they're fighting their first 5 fights, they fight people that have no fights. They fight people that have no experience. So it's like, oh, look, I'm 0-1, or I'm 0-0, taking on another fighter that's 0-0. Now I'm 1-0, guess who I'm fighting? Another fighter that's 0-0. You see people pad their fucking record all the time. They don't fight experienced fighters in their early fights. But you know what Kayla Harrison did? Because she probably heard the fucking critics and the people that just can't wait to hate on Kayla Harrison. You know what she did? She came out in her next fight. She took on fucking Josette Cotton. That's 8-1. Where's the losing record? She's 8-1. She's only lost once, and she's won 8 times. And oh, by the way, she can't even make the 145-pound weight limit. Josette Cotton's a big girl that's got some serious striking. And that's one of the things she said, and a lot of people said, oh, she's going to get in there with Josette Cotton, and she's going to have to stand up, you know, because Josette Cotton knows how to roll with the punches. She at least has a little bit of boxing, and watch, Kayla's going to get knocked out. She ain't going to have no head movement. She's like Ronda Rousey. Yeah, she's like Ronda Rousey. All right, well, all you motherfuckers that compare Kayla Harrison to Ronda Rousey, but how you seamlessly forget that Ronda Rousey became the fucking champion and defended the belt 7 times before she got knocked out. So even if you are saying, oh, she's Ronda Rousey, well, motherfucker, that means she's going to be the champion, right? Right? And oh, by the way, because I've been trying to tell people, she's not fucking Ronda Rousey. She's better. Ronda Rousey got a bronze once. This chick got a gold twice. What the fuck? There's levels to this shit, and she's already shown she's better than Rousey. And oh, by the way, in her second pro fight, what did she do? All of that aside, what did she do? She came out there moving that motherfucking head. Yo! She came out there moving her head, showing her striking, kicking Josette Cotton's legs. She even threw a fucking head kick, punching her in the body. And if you're scared of getting punched in the face, by the way, you're not going to be reaching in and punching someone in the body, putting your head all up in their fucking space so you can punch them in the body. Well-rounded striking. And then she took the fight to the ground in each round and kept her there. Wasn't able to get back up. Strong Josette Cotton. Guess who was even stronger that night? Kayla Harrison. Held her down, kept her down there, and eventually got the 3rd round KO TKO. So, it is what it is, man. I could go on Kayla Harrison today. I could keep going, and we can continue the motherfucking conversation tomorrow because she's the real deal. This ain't no motherfucking hype job. This ain't even like no Mackenzie Dern type shit. I don't know what's going on with Mackenzie Dern, but I don't think she's going to be as good as Kayla Harrison. She's got a lot of potential. She's beautiful. I get it. She's got them motherfucking cheeks. Put some respect on them cheeks. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Mackenzie Dern, I completely understand why she might have some fans and people get behind her. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But that doesn't mean I think I don't look at Mackenzie Dern as someone that, oh, she might be the fucking champion, the reigning defender. Oh, she might be the Valentina dethroner. She might be able to beat Valentina in a couple of years. Oh, what if, I don't look at her like that. No. I'm looking at Mackenzie Dern like, I'll see what the fuck she can do. She's got great jiu-jitsu I hear about. Let's see if she submits some chicks. But just from what I've seen in her, I don't look at her like, oh, yeah, by the way, Mackenzie Dern is the next champion. Kayla Harrison is a fucking different story. This ain't no hype job here. This ain't no... And people talk about how, like, chicks get opportunities because of their looks and shit like that. Kayla Harrison ain't out here fucking being sexually provocative, putting her ass and titties all in everybody's face and shit like that. I mean, she's not ugly. It's like, what do you want from her? Do you want her to go out here and fucking give herself a scar on the face just so she can be ugly like other people? Like, it ain't people's fault that don't look like dog shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not their fault. People like to see that. So it is what it is. And also, Kayla Harrison, you know what I'm saying, compared to some of these other fighters, a little bit of a dicky, if you know what I'm saying. And especially in this day and age, that ain't a bad thing. So yeah, maybe she does get some opportunities, but it's not got nothing to do with her fucking looks. It's got to do with the fact that she was Olympic judo gold medalist twice, the fact that she's training with the American top team, other mixed martial arts champions, Amanda Nunes, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, one of the best camps in the world over there at American top team. She's training with them. She's got a great fucking team around her. She showed her success and her fucking hunger and the fact that she became a judo gold medalist twice. I mean, not even that. I don't even ever talk about she went through like some fucking sexual harassment story. She got like a book out there, you know, like probably one of them dirty ass Olympic doctors, one of them motherfuckers, I think, you know what I'm saying? Like something happened. So she's been through some shit on top of that, but just her fighting skills, there's fucking potential there. And like I said, to anybody that's not on the Harrison wagon, you act like if she doesn't beat Chris Cyborg, she's nothing. What if she beats every fucking buddy else? What if she beats Holly Holm? What if she beats Megan Anderson? What if she beats Amanda? Well, that's her teammate. What if she beats everyone but Cyborg? Is she still a fucking bust? Are you a hype job if you can beat everybody else in the world besides the current champion? You're still not fucking hype if you come in here and beat everybody else the fuck up. You're still a beast. So give her some motherfucking slack and quit hating. That's all I'm saying. Let's move down, though. I know I've been talking for a long time on this. There's probably been chat's been popping. Stem she said, building a feather division out of fucking bantams. Great stuff. None of them bantamweights want to smoke with Kayla Harrison. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, no, I watched the Tough Show. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, man. Maybe they're trying to. Honestly, I can see this happening. You know what I'm saying? I be building my own storylines in my head sometimes. I could see like Cyborg. She's been talking about leaving the UFC. Like, I'd be continuing the storylines. Like, I could see her leaving the UFC and going to boxing, and that's when the UFC swoops in, signs Kayla. Motherfucking Kayla becomes the featherweight champion. And the Cyborg's like, oh, now you motherfuckers want to build a division. All right, I'm coming back. And so Kayla's the UFC champion, and Cyborg's got to come back for her belt. I could see some shit like that happening. But yeah, the other featherweights, I don't even know who the fuck is on the radar. Of course, you got, I learned some of them from Coach's channel, you know, Pam Sorensen, Cindy Dandois, and these girls that didn't get signed. But there's not, the featherweights that are out there, they didn't get signed to the Tough House. So I could see Kayla. They're all Kayla food. They're all Cyborg food. I was watching the Tough Show at the very beginning. Like, all of these girls look like Cyborg food. It's like we're watching the men's heavyweights and Cyborg food. You know what I'm saying? But hey. Yeah, with that being said, though, that's the end of the show. I got to be to work in the next 45 minutes. I still got to get ready for work, get something to eat before work. So we got a little bit of time. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys coming through to the show today. It is Tuesday, motherfucking September 4th. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, probably around the same time because I'm looking for shifts. Hopefully I can find another one. So, yeah, man, I'm heading out to work. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Yo, I've been thinking the exact same thing. Storyline says forward. Fuck with your boy. I'm just saying, Mystic Full Time's got a plan. With that, I'm saying Mystic Full Time. You guys know that other fucking channel that said I was the Carlos Mencia of MMA? The fact that people called me Mystic Full Time, I didn't give myself this name, by the way. The chat gave me this name, Mystic Full Time, after predictions, after predictions, after predictions, after fake money betting, after I've fucking been right multiple times. You know, everyone does it. When you talk a lot, sometimes you're going to be right, sometimes you're going to be wrong. But specifically for my predictions, I'm pretty on the motherfucking money, if I must say. You know, Mystic Full Time fits. Can someone please tell me where that nickname came from before we get out of here? Is there anybody in the UFC that goes by Mystic? I'll just wait for the chat to pop up. Somebody tell me. If I was fucking... the chat gave me the name for one. But I'm telling you, they're running with it. Oh, your nickname is Mystic Full Time? Another thing you copied from another YouTube channel. A fucking YouTube channel came up with Mystic? Mystic McGregor. Mystic Mac. You're giving that fucking credit to a YouTube channel? You guys need to get his fucking dick out your mouth. I'll say that. Now I'm out of here. I got to get to work. Let the Full Time family know what you think in the comments. We out.